Hello and welcome back to our Batman the Animated Series episodes commentary. And today's episode is one that I really love, probably one of my top 10 best episodes in this show called Sideshow. And this is an episode featuring the villain Killer Croc. We will talk more about it, but as usual, let's watch it together by following my countdown. If you're watching in your DVD box set or Blu-ray box set or streaming service with Batman the Animated Series, let's go in 3, 2, 1. Give it a play. The Warner Bros. Logo is now on the screen because now we have two logos, right? So yeah, Sideshow. This is one of my favorite episodes in Batman the Animated Series, especially because it is a different kind of episode. It's an episode with Batman on a mission to capture Killer Croc. And in this ordeal, Croc will end up finding a group of people or a group of freaks, maybe, that he will fit right in as almost like a family member. And this is a circus group. So it's a very interesting story, right? Because we see a different side to a villain that so far in the show has been very one note, right? In terms of he's just a monster. And then he finds this group of different people that work in a circus. They are traveling in the circus. And it's great to see a different side, a more human side to this character. And it's a very, not very sad, but it's a kind of sad episode because of this theme. So yeah, the episode starts with Killer Croc being transported in a train, and this train is going through the forest, and in one of the cars of the train, he's under cuffs and chains. And in the other car, there are these FBI guys, probably, all wearing suits and hats. And we're going to see very soon that one of these guys is actually a very familiar character in disguise. So the worst happens. Killer Croc is able to break the chains that are holding him, and he attacks the guard that is taking care of him in the train. And in the other car, we see that the FBI guys they stand up from their chairs to see what's going on, and one of them it's Bruce Wayne, or should I say Batman, disguised as an FBI official. So he, very quickly he opens his suit and reveals the bat symbol underneath, and secretly goes into another car to change into Batman. And very quickly, he and Killer Croc start to fight because he tries to escape the train by going to the roof of it, and Batman follows him. So they start this very cool fight on the roof of the train, going across a bridge. And during this fight, Killer Croc ends up falling from the train, and he grabs the cape of Batman, and both of them fall. They actually fall a huge fall into the middle of the forest. Batman gets unconscious, and Croc also is a little dizzy because of the fall. He grabs a rock, a huge rock to throw on Batman and kill him. But he's so groggy from the fall that he ends up missing the rock. He throws it on the floor but misses Batman. And then he falls, he staggers backwards and ends up tripping and falling from a cliff. And this is where we're going to see him, walking down the forest and going away. And I kind of believe that this is this whole scene of the rock is a Easter egg, or at least I don't know if it was intentional or not, an Easter egg to the episode I Almost Got Him, where Killer Croc, which is actually not the real Killer Croc, is Batman disguised as Killer Croc, tells the story that one day he grabbed a huge rock and threw it in Batman, but missed it. Um, so I believe this is a very clever Easter egg for that episode. Maybe, right? We don't know. Anyway, Batman follows the trail of Killer Croc in the forest because he wakes up from his slumber as well. And Killer Croc, he was wearing these prison clothes, and he starts to leave pieces of the cloth of the shirt and stuff behind. And Batman ends up finding these pieces of cloth in the forest. And what we see here is a very interesting section of the episode, that the whole thing takes place in the forest with both of these characters, in a journey. One of them to escape and the other to catch him. And it's almost like a silent section of the episode. There's no dialogue here, which is very cool. We see Croc having to find ways to cross the forest. He knocks a tree down to be able to make a bridge to cross a huge cliff that ends up in a river to another side of another cliff. And then Croc also he climbs a huge rock wall, and he tosses many rocks from above into Batman below, and almost gets Batman. But of course, the Caped Crusader is able to shoot his grappling hook into some other rocks and prevent his fall. It's a very cool action scene. By the way, the animation here is top notch. Great animation. We see Batman, having to do some acrobatics to escape the rocks that Killer Croc tossed over him. At the same time, he has a hard time catching some cliff edge to be able to escape. And then we see Killer Croc still groggy, still, tired, or already tired from the whole journey. And he ends up slipping on a rock that makes him fall into this huge river that carries him. And he ends up falling a huge waterfall. And this is where we meet the first character from the circus group. That is the boy who has these, how do you say, aquatic limbs. And he's almost like a dolphin, but with human features. And, or a seal, right? Should I say. But anyway, after this boy saves Croc after he fell from the waterfall, he takes him to the group of characters that are the protagonists beside Batman and Croc in this episode. That is the circus group. We have a big guy who is Goliath, I believe. We have May and June, who is who are sisters, but they are connected. Their bodies are connected. And also we have the leader of the group. I forgot his name now. Richard. He just said it. Who is a hunchback old man, and the Seal Boy, of course. And so this is great. I mean, this is a fantastic kind of plot where we see Croc being this bad guy, having to, or being tossed in the middle of a group that is just like him, all their issues or their lives are very similar to his in terms of he's treated as a aberration or a freak, and this group of people are not different from him, um, and they are all these very good, nice people. I actually have a story of my own that takes place in a circus with these so-called freaks, being these groups, the circus group, and it also has many similar ideas to this episode. Maybe I got inspiration to write my own story based on this episode. That's why I love it so much. Uh, because it's a very different kind of story. First of all, it takes place very far from Gotham City, right? So we are talking about an episode that takes place completely in the forest, in this woods environment, and the circus group they live in this farm in the woods. So um, it also plays in that whole idea of the outsider, right? Because Batman is not the protagonist here. These people, this group of strange people, they are the protagonists. They are the outsiders. And I love stories about outsiders. I love stories about people who are, uh, you know, they live outside the society, uh, but because they don't fit in. And this is exactly what happens here. Croc finds a kind of a family with people that also don't, just like him, don't fit in into the normal society. Um, so I love this kind of episodes that really focus on another, how can I explain this? That take Batman into a completely different journey from what we are used to see him, right? Um, so yes, like I said in the beginning of the episode, when I do my top 10 Batman the Animated Series episodes, this will be absolutely among them. This is a very special episode for me, and also it is an episode that if you want to show other people and explain how different this cartoon was for its time, how clever, how mature, how just interesting this cartoon was for another person that is not familiar with Batman the Animated Series. This is the perfect episode. This is one of the perfect episodes to show to this person, to really demonstrate the clever stories that Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, and the company were able to create, and how heartfelt those stories were. And for example, right now we just saw a scene where Killer Croc, he being the bad guy that he is, he immediately, he's never up to any good. So he heard from the family that they had some money kept in the farm. So the first thing that he does during the night is to try to find this money. And then he finds the money, but the seal boy appears, and he decides not to take the money because his heart speaks louder in this moment, right? Because he's getting acquainted to these people, and also they assured him that he would be safe in this place, because from the beginning he is worried with the appearance of Batman, which it just happened right now. Batman showed up, and he's trying to find Killer Croc, and he approached the Goliath during the night, and Goliath got scared, and both of these characters started to fight, and the whole family wakes up, and we see Killer Croc also entering the fight, So uh, Batman and Batman ends up being trapped by Goliath and Killer Croc and tossed inside a cage that they have around there. And of course, the family doesn't know who is the Batman. They don't know why he's there. And Batman tries to explain to everybody that Killer Croc is a criminal, escaped convict, and because Croc has these cuffs in his wrists from the chains that were holding him during the transportation. Uh, the owner of the circus, Richard, he believes Croc because he believes that he was an outsider that was tortured by society. But of course, Crocs ruins everything because uh, these people were going to protect him, but then he showed his true colors by saying or deciding that they must kill the bat. And this is obviously completely out of any comprehension for this group of people. And the seal boy and everybody try to convince him not to do it. And because again, they are confused. They don't know what's going on exactly. And Killer Croc attacks Goliath because Goliath tried to stop him from killing the bat. And there's this funny line where the girls say, "We can't kill a human. It's not a good thing." And then Croc just says, "Who are you calling human?" But anyway, and Killer Croc, he got the belt of Batman from him before putting him on the cage. So he got some of his devices inside the belts, including these gas bombs. And you know, knowing that he won't get his way by killing Batman, he uses the gas bombs uh, against the group of people. So now he's completely evil again. And he will he traps everybody inside other cage and goes back to the farm to get the money that they have. So now it's Croc is on full villain mode again. During that, the group people, they try to escape from the cage. At the same time, Batman, he is able to find a way to move the cage. The cage has some wheels underneath it, so he's able to find a way to move this cage. And during this, Killer Croc, he grabbed a shotgun to kill Batman, and Batman, in the last moment, is able to move the cage, and the whole thing hits some rocks, and the cage is completely destroyed, and Batman is able to escape from inside it. And this is where we're gonna have the final confrontation of this episode. Um, and now we have the group, the circus group, actually helping Batman to grab Killer Croc again. And we're gonna have this very cool. Cool in the sense that it's a very well choreographed and a very well written final confrontation that takes place inside and around the farm. With it's a very simple, right, confrontation. If you analyze it, it's not extravagant. It doesn't take place in any extravagant place. It's just inside the farm. And Killer Croc, for example, traps himself inside the farm, and he shoots Batman from the window of it. And the Seal Boy, he helps Batman to enter the place by underneath it because there is a lake underneath the farmhouse, and both Batman and the Steel Boy swim inside the lake to enter the place. And he enters the farm, and he starts to fight with Killer Croc, and it's a very cool fight. You know, we see Batman using this huge, how do you say, a huge stick, like almost like an Olympic athlete, to jump and hit Killer Croc in the air. And again, it's a incredible animation in this episode. I don't think I ever noticed how well animated this episode was. Again, it's one of the perks of this rediscovering these episodes when I do these commentaries, is to see these details. And this episode in particular is top notch in terms of animation. I love it. It's pretty clear that in terms of script, plot, the story itself, the episodes, the animation, everything was done with due care and with a lot of heart by the creators, because I believe Paul Dini and Bruce Timm and all the company, I believe this is one of their favorite episodes. Anyway, Batman is able to beat Killer Croc and get him unconscious. And we're going to have the final scene of the episode where the cops show up to grab him. And now Killer Croc will be transported almost like a Hannibal Lecter in a straitjacket and a helmet to prevent his teeth to bite anything. He will be transported in a helicopter now. You know, the helicopter will descend the cable and pull him to be transported, completely immobilized. And we see the little Seal Boy sad because of the way he chose to do things and the tragedy that is the fact that he could have been part of this family, but because of his nature, his evil nature, he cannot be part of any family. And this is it. Great episode. I love it. Sideshow. If you are liking the contents of BATGUS and these commentaries, please don't forget to leave your beautiful like in this video and your amazing subscription so we can keep talking about Batman the Animated Series and DC Universe forever, alright? See you in the next Bat episode, and bye-bye!